welcome back to Dukascopy TV. Now, you might remember last month Thomas spoke to John Hancock, counsellor at the World Trade Organization, his view on oil and energy from the US. John joins me again in the studio today for an update on this topic. Hi John, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So John, firstly, big news from the States this week. The US has expanded their exception list for the imports from Iran. Why have they done this, and who exactly will benefit from it?
I guess the short answer is they've done it because these countries seem to be moving in the direction the US would like. Countries like India and Malaysia are, I think, the third and fourth biggest importers of Iranian oil, and they've reduced their imports, so they seem to be measuring up to the criteria that the US has set. And in that sense, the policy seems to be moving in the direction that the Americans wanted.
I see. And China and Singapore, they were not granted exceptions. Why is this? And do you think that they will be granted exceptions in the future? It's
a very good question. Neither are happy about it, especially China. Has been quite outspoken about the U.S. policy and its objections to the U.S. policy. My understanding is the U.S. is engaged in negotiations as we speak with Singapore. My expectations is that will produce the kind of results the U.S. would like. And China, I'd be surprised if this came to a confrontation. Bear in mind, though, that China is the world's biggest importer of Iranian oil, so they have more at stake.
And these sanctions, do you think that they're having the overall effect that the US wanted?
Yeah, I mean, they are very controversial. It's an obvious example of US extraterritoriality that's using its, in this case, influence over central bank financial transactions to exert pressure on a third party, Iran, through pressure on other countries. But it's working. I mean, if countries are, and they are, reducing their imports of Iranian oil, the pressure is coming to bear on Iran.
And just lastly, what effect do you think that this news will have on oil prices, which have come down around 24% from last month?
I think the rise that preceded the decline was partly driven by uncertainty over the Iran situation. Again, I don't think this policy resolves that problem. It's a much bigger problem. It's obviously tied to their nuclear ambitions or their nuclear program. But by and large, the United States seems to be avoiding a confrontation with its allies or with its key trading partners, and that's a good thing. So, for example, India coming on board is a positive sign. But this is part of a bigger picture. Iran is only one part of a larger global supply glut. Maybe that's too strong a word, but global supply is outstripping demand at the moment, and hence the price is going down. And it's being driven by a lot of factors. Probably the main factor is declining demand, economic uncertainty in the US, economic uncertainty even in China, and especially economic uncertainty in the European Union.
Okay, John, thank you very much for your insights. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
That's all from us from Dukascopy TV team today, but click back for the website for plenty more interviews and updates. Goodbye.